Looking at these images taken by traders themselves, you'd have expected the damage in their shops to be quite significant. But this sort of flooding hits them a few times a year, and now they're better prepared to deal with it. This seems to be the area of Main Street that is worst affected by the floods yesterday. Rain, of course, in the upper town has come gushing down Crutchet's Ramp. Main Street is itself on an incline, meaning that the worst of the flooding was here. And the traders tell me that it was up to about a half metre of standing water. It clearly wasn't a day to do business. The emphasis was on damage limitation. Traders monitored the rising water levels and responded quickly.
We've got a metal grill at the front, but obviously it's not waterproof, and I've just checked and there were some marks on my storefront that suggested that the water had risen up to, say, like half a metre level. And because of that height, although I've got a ramp at the entrance of the shop, that was the ramp wasn't high enough to stop the water staying out. So the water flooded through the front of the shop. And because, as you mentioned previously, we've got a patio at the back, there was some infiltration of water from the back as well. So basically the whole shop was flooded. Luckily, I've got a very supportive team and a very supportive family. And within minutes, I'd post on a couple of my WhatsApp groups, and I had staff members turning up. I had a few of my family turning up.
I came down quite early yesterday morning. Must have been just after 10 o'clock. We had some heavy rains, looked out the window and found that because this area is quite prone to flooding, they need to actually come down and see if we were going to have any water flooding or any water penetration in any of our shops. We got down here, things were under control, but 10 or 15 minutes later there was a very heavy downpour, and as you could see in one of the videos, that you could actually see the water level building up. I would say it was about 1.5 foot at least outside. But we know how to secure the premises, we know that the damage that can be caused, so we normally are one step ahead and empty out everything on the lower level, in the display windows, in the counters, and they just hope that we can keep back the water as much as we can.
Traders' efforts were assisted by the Technical Services Department, who opened the drains. Although this area of Main Street was generally the worst affected by floods, probably the individual shop that has suffered the most in the past 48 hours is electronics retailer Gallos. Here the problem wasn't the rising water, but actually the rain coming down from above.
When we came today, we saw that there was extensive damage due to the rains that we've had during the weekend. It was a shock, and you can see there's been water coming through the ceiling, through the air conditioning pipes and other areas. So we're just trying to minimize as much as we can, but as the rain continues, it's very difficult to repair anything until it fully stops. So we're just doing what we can to save what we can in the shop.
I was going to say, you've got a lot of televisions, for example, which cost hundreds of pounds. I mean, have you got any sort of estimate as to the extent of the damage?
Not at the moment. It's very difficult to tell, but obviously we've been in touch with our insurers, so we'll be having to do a whole assessment of it, the whole lot, and see what it is.
Gallos was unable to open today, but they expect to do so tomorrow. Along with other Main Street traders, they'll be hoping to put the heavy rains behind them and concentrate on a busy few weeks of trading in the build-up to Christmas.